to the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Crispin Glover, Dr. Gruder, and A Blind Bargain, premiering at Frightfest. It's very cool to have you here.
Thank you. Glad to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And can you give people an idea about your character, Dr. Gruder?
Well, the funny thing is, I have not seen the film yet.
Oh, interesting.
They keep having projections of the film, and I'm using the word film specifically because it was shot on Super 16 negative, and I respect that. I tour around with, I'm also a filmmaker, and I tour around with my own films which were shot on film. I've never released my films digitally because I like people to come see the films in the movie theater. And I'm about to start touring with a new film. I toured with my first two films from 2005 to 2020. Uh, with a live show that I perform, which is with books that I've made and illustrated. I dramatically narrate the books. Then I present the feature. Then I do a Q&A and then a book signing. And people can find out about these shows on crispinglover.com. They can sign up for a newsletter. I'm going to be in October at the IFC in Manhattan, October, and this will all be announced on my website. But I'm talking about this, and it's pertinent to Blind Bargain because Blind Bargain was shot on film, which I respect. So October 10th through at least the 14th, maybe a couple dates after that, at the IFC with my live show. Then the next week, at the Aero Theater through American Cinematheque in Santa Monica, Los Angeles, October 18th and 19th. I'll be back with the American Cinematheque at a yet to be determined date at the Egyptian Theater, which is where I've normally played my films before. But the American Cinematheque programs several venues in Los Angeles, so we're going to do that in December. But right after my October dates, I'll be at the Music Box Theater in Chicago, I believe on the 22nd and 23rd of October. But all of this will be announced on crispinglover.com so people can find out and sign up. And if you can put a link, that would be great.
100%. Yeah.
But
I'm in Massachusetts, so the Manhattan one's closer for me.
oh, good. And I'd like to come to Massachusetts. I toured with my first two films all over the United States, the UK, Europe, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Japan. So I was going places with 35 millimeter prints of my films. I shot my first two films on regular 16 negative, then had a digital intermediate, blew it up to a 35. My new film, the one I'm going to start touring with, in October, we shot on a 35 millimeter negative. The Blind Bargain we shot on Super 16 negative, which is a beautiful format right now with 2K, 4K. What you can do with Super 16 is beautiful. In a certain way, the difference between Super 16 or 35 you can almost see more grain with the Super 16 because it's a smaller millimeter, and grain is what you want. So I'm not anti-digital. Digital can be beautiful as well, but if something can be shot on film,
How,
that's really, really
how does
great.
that, you talk about as being a filmmaker, how does that change as an actor when you're acting in a movie shot on film? Does that make a difference for you?
I'm aware of it, and there is. I mean, I know I do deeply understand the difference of how something looks, but also I'm technical enough. I own my own camera equipment for my own filmmaking, so I'm pretty aware of lenses, and it's almost something I sort of probably it's best if I forget about it when
Mhm.
I'm in front of a camera. But there is a technical awareness that it's almost hard to not become aware of what I would call the proscenium arch. The proscenium arch is classically what's on a theater stage. The area that is above the stage is called the proscenium arch. But each lens has a slightly different, so to speak, proscenium arch of it. If you're working with a 9.8 canoptic, which is a beautiful lens, it's a wide lens. Kubrick used it a lot in The Shining and other films. A lot of great filmmakers have used it. I happen to own that lens. It's a beautiful lens to shoot with because you can get within inches of the lens, and yet it shows everything behind. It's wide, and it's not a fisheye. It can stretch things. You like those hallway shots, I believe, of Danny going down the
Yeah.
hallway on the trike. You can see the walls bend a little bit almost. That was shot with a 9.8 canoptic. And then if you're using a 50 millimeter, it's not going to bend anything. Or uh, an 80 millimeter, it's if you're far away, you can get in very close. So I'm aware of all of these things and what it means, what the proscenium arch you happen to be playing in the moment. But on some level, as an actor, maybe you shouldn't even be thinking about that at all, and only what your character's doing. But there's something about the technical aspects of knowing these things that can be useful.
Yeah, I was in a movie shot in 60 millimeter, and at first I was like a little nerve wracked because like I know you don't want to waste the film, but I think in the overall that's better because everyone's very prepared, and you know you're just not going to
Yeah,
waste
no,
time.
there's something to that. You're not going to do as many takes necessarily. There is a slightly different approach to shooting on film, but yeah, I mean, there are things you could do with digital that I don't see people doing, which I'm surprised at. John Cassavetes would shoot many, many, many takes on film, and he's one of our great filmmakers, and he was using. I mean, there may be some exaggeration to the amount of improvisation he was using, but I'm sure he was using a lot of different techniques, both with his writing, but he himself talked about how much film he would shoot. But nowadays, one could do the kind of experimentation that Cassavetes was doing with digital, and it wouldn't be as expensive as what he was doing at that time. And not many people are doing that. It's understandable. There's a standard of how films are generally made, but sometimes breaking that standard can be interesting. You can feel it if something's shot in a certain standard way, and you can feel it if there's a different way of approaching it.
So you're obviously someone who really cares about film, movies, film, and since this movie is a reimagining of a lost Lon Chaney film, does that like hold any importance, like a special meaning to you?
Well, I love Lon Chaney. I mean the work that he did is unparalleled. There's nobody ever before or since who's done the kind of, I mean, just the physicality alone, uh, binding his limbs in different characters, the makeup work he would do in certain characters, and then on top of it, genuinely exploratory and differentiated character work as an actor. His parents were deaf and mute, or is it deaf and mute? Well, he had to express to them as a child through a kind of a pantomime. So he was literally born to make silent film for his parents. It's remarkable. You can feel it. I'd say my favorite performance of his is a film called The Unknown, where he plays somebody. He's a gaffed freak would be the Carney term for it, of a man with no arms.
Hmm.
But then he falls in love with a woman who doesn't want to be touched. She has some neurosis, and he realizes that he should cut off his arms to get her, but something goes wrong, and
It doesn't
there's
sound
a
like anything's
moment
going right at that point, but yeah, yeah.
where he realizes that something terrible has happened, and it's just his performance in it is remarkable. But no, this is a lost film. There's only a few photos of Lon
Hmm.
Chaney. You can't know. I mean, maybe they'll find it. They're finding things every once in a while, but it's something like 90% of all silent films are gone forever because they didn't have a remarketing value for it, and silver content was high in the film, so it was more valuable for them to melt the film down and get the silver content. They didn't realize that there was no home
Yeah,
video
and
or
I think most people know about London After Midnight, but this is one that I think not a lot of people know about. So I think it was interesting to do something with
yeah.
this story.
I mean, the thing is who knows? There's more photos of London After Midnight.
Mhm.
The many people who did actually see the film say it wasn't. Todd Browning is one of my favorite filmmakers who made
Me
London
too.
After
Yeah,
Midnight, and but a lot of people say that it was not one of his better things. I
yeah,
think he himself remade it as a sound film. It might even have the word vampire in it, and even the remake was not one of his better ventures. But Todd Browning made The Unknown. Todd Browning, my favorite of his is Freaks, which is just
yeah.
what a movie. And of course, probably his most famous is the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi and Dwight Fry as Renfield, who really gives the most emotive performance in the.
Yeah, 100%.
He's fantastic in it. But yeah, I like the silent and pre-code genre or era of filmmaking a lot. I try to go to venues that actually project these movies. I've been trying to go see film projection more than just watching it as digitally projected at home, which is great. I have a nice
Yeah,
projector
no,
screen, but there's still nothing like going to see a film
agreed.
projected on film at a cinema. It's great.
Yeah, some great theaters in Boston that do that. Coolidge
Yeah,
After
I've
Midnight,
been
they
to
show it there.
I always forget if I was at the Coolidge or at the
Brattle's probably the two, Brattle or
Brattle.
Coolidge. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it very much, and I've talked to in fact, I was talking to the Music Box Theater about it. They're a little bit hard to get hold of. They're hard to program there, but they're great theaters. I'd like to go back with the new film
yeah.
if
Well, I'll
anybody.
connect you. I'm actually friends
Yeah,
with the
please
guy who
do. Yeah,
runs
yeah.
Coolidge After Midnight. So
Contact me on publicity at crispinglover.com. Although I had a weird thing happen where somebody just interfered. I've got to get it fixed. There was some weird thing. I've got to get it repaired. But anyhow, yeah, contact me on
yeah,
any
no, I
of
definitely will.
the emails on crispinglover.com. I get hold of. So
Yeah,
I'd like to come back
yeah.
to Boston for that.
So, the idea like a classic, this is a reimagine of a classic movie. You're talking about these great, classic horror films. Like when you're talking with the director how to play the character, do you want it to have a certain tone, like to have it more feel like a silent movie? Was that something like
Well,
you had to talk
no,
to a lot with?
he Paul, the director, was he specifically. It was set. I don't think he wrote the original screenplay, but I think then he was involved in rewrites of it. But it was written set in, I believe it's 1970 or 1971,
Hmm.
so early 70s, which does have a particular air and feel. I was very young at that time, but there's, I have memories of this time. And so there were things that it made sense for me to think about. We discussed certain things about film and probably a little bit about Lon Chaney, but the he in the original film, Lon Chaney played two characters, which he
Hmm.
often would do. I'm playing one of the two characters, but even when we say that, this is nobody. There's just a few photos of the movie. He's playing a doctor, which would be kind of the character that I'm playing, and another one which is
It's like an ape
sort
man
of,
or something.
yeah, yeah, and he did one of his physical transformations, and there's just a few photos of it. I'm sure it was interesting. I would love to see it if they ever find it, but you can't. You can look at his. He had a bit of a goatee. He looked perhaps maybe of a European, perhaps a German doctor or something. But there was nothing that in this screenplay that necessarily
Yeah, and I think if you try to
refers to
recapture
that.
that, then you can come off kind of corny, like if you or
Exactly.
parody or something.
Exactly. And Paul and I discussed that, and I didn't feel like it would make sense for me to try to recreate that. So it just made more sense to work within what the text at hand was. And there was interesting, enjoyable elements to play, some good dialogue and structural changes for the character. It was enjoyable. It was a nice production. Everybody that the producers and everybody that was involved were genuine cinephiles, particularly loving of the silent era and of this particular of Lon Chaney. So it was nice talking to those people. I like that stuff as well.
And I'm friends with Jed Rowan, and I didn't going in. I went in
Yes.
blind, and so I didn't even realize he was in it. And so he pops in. I was like, "Oh, sweet! I'm friends with him. It's cool." And he's a major character in the movie, so I was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
happy.
He and I had a lot of scenes together. Very, very nice fellow. Works all the time. I mean, he's been
Yeah,
in hundreds of movies at this point.
yeah.
Uh, he's a nice man. I liked working with him very much.
And when you take on a villain, especially like a mad scientist, do you think of him as a villain? Like, do you play him as a villain, or do you like
Well,
do you,
I'm aware of the purpose within the structure. You're of course when you enacting class or what have you, you're of course you're a character always believes what they're doing is good for something. I mean, I suppose there would be characters that feel that they themselves are the most important thing for whatever reason, and that can be very harmful to other people. But they usually have something they think they're doing that's good, and it's often best to play that.
yeah? And so
Yeah.
are you gonna be at Fright Fest to see
No,
it?
no, I'm in a hotel room right now. I'm acting in a movie shot in Illinois right now. So no, I've not seen the film yet. I've not
Yeah,
seen Blind Bargain.
I feel
I would
weird that
like,
I've seen the movie and you haven't. You're in
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. So you did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it a lot, honestly.
Good.
Not to see you hear anything, but I'm a big fan of yours, and I
Oh,
always
thank
think very. I always just love seeing you in a movie. I love your how you perform dialogue. Just I've actually met you many times on the show. I love your performance as Montag in the remake of
Oh
Wizard of
yeah,
Gore.
yeah.
I think there's a line I always say. It's you say like the things they tell you lies, and I just think it's performed like amazing.
That's
So
funny.
you have
I
great
I don't
presence and.
that's good. I don't remember saying that particular line, but that's how I gave big emphasis on lies.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a big fan. Yeah. So now I've
That's
interviewed
funny.
both Montags. Ray Sager's been on the show too. So
Oh, really? Are you the original
yeah,
fellow?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The old
Very-
Herschel Gordon Lewis movie.
I felt when I watched, I had not seen the movie before I made that movie, and then I did
Interesting.
watch it to see if there was anything I could glean from it. It was very different what they had written, so I didn't feel like there was anything I could particularly use. But what I noticed from it, I would be very curious uh, to see if David Cronenberg, was influenced when he made Videodrome, because I felt like something they didn't put in the remake that I was involved in, which I thought was actually the most interesting thing about that original film, was the hypnosis that was going on through the television. That at which it plays a huge part of what Videodrome is about. So I would almost, what is it that I think Picasso or somebody like this says, uh, bad artists copy, great artists steal. And I know it's obvious what he meant. You can't detect what somebody is picking up, but I would be very curious if Cronenberg was influenced for Videodrome by the original
Wizard of Gore. Yeah.
sort of Gore, about the hypnosis that is really what the center of Videodrome. Videodrome is my favorite Cronenberg film.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. It's the one I used to rent very often as a kid.
Yeah, it's very few films really deal with hallucinations well.
Hmm.
That one deals with it extremely well. That is that might be one of the best studies of hallucinogenic turning in on itself of anything. It's really
Did you ever see Blood-Sucking Freaks, a Joel M. Reed movie?
I've
Because he
heard of
has
it.
kind of a, I would recommend. It's a very weird '70s movie, but or
Uh,
maybe even '60s. But he says that Wizard of Gord was a copy of Blood-Sucking Freaks, so
oh,
it's interesting.
anything's possible. I mean,
Yeah.
these who knows what influences what, and to be fair, that's how things can work. That's good. It's good when ideas float and they're reinterpreted and they mean something new within the specificity of the time that something's made.
And there's somehow like a dreamlike hallucination scenes in your movie, in this new movie, a blind bargain. And it's I don't know, since you haven't seen the movie, you might not know, but it's like in your lab and there's like these weird
I
bugs and
remember
eyes
seeing
floating
that.
around.
Yeah, yeah. How did that come out?
Great. It has that actually that scene kind of feels almost Dr. Caligari kind of feel.
Oh,
It definitely
neat.
feels like, an older movie.
Oh, nice.
And it
Very good.
works since it's like dreamlike, so it's different than, the rest of the film.
Good, good. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
I
remember
liked it a lot.
good.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to your. I would love to go see your movie in person. A Blind Bargain's great, and I'd like to see your film that's going to be coming out in
Yeah,
October.
I'm excited. I've been working on it for a long time. I almost hesitate to how long. I started shooting it on film in 2013.
Oh wow! So
And
when
that's a
you
long
say like a long time, like people think like you're just working nonstop on it for 12 years, but like does it have to be like you're working on in between other projects?
yes, and what I all of my I've never I funded all of my own films as a filmmaker, and I've always, for various reasons, I've never done what people standardly do, where they shoot all in a number of weeks and then they're done. Maybe they have a reshoot later. What I've always done is production segments over a period of months and or years. And this film in particular, the new one I'm about to start touring with in October of what year are we in? 2025.
Hmm.
I I shot there's different time periods in the film: 1868, 1888, 1918, 1948, and contemporary. And I started shooting in the October of 2013, the 1868 and 1888 portions. Then which are smaller portions of the film. Then the next year, I think the next 2 years, maybe it was the next year, I shot all of the 1948 portions, I think in two different segments. I would shoot 10-day segments. I think I shot one 20-day segment for 1918. Then I came back the following year and I shot the segments that were 1948. Then I edited all that together. I realized that the film didn't function properly. And I added a whole new layer to the film, which was shot contemporary. Um, and I shot that over a period of 2 years. Everything else was shot at my property in the Czech Republic on sets I built, 18,000 square feet of sets
Wow.
in the former horse stables of the property. And then I shot some other things in Los Angeles, some pickups and other things with backdrops, etc. And that was so that was 5 years of shooting, but over different periods. Then I formally started the post production editing. I edited for a couple of years, then color correction, because each portion was color corrected in a different way. That took 2 years. I'm still right now. Then there were title issues I had to deal with, and now I'm dealing. I re-edited the film. It was a 90-minute film just a month or so ago. I re-edited it from a 90-minute film to an 85-minute film. I rearranged the beginning. I cut. This just happened a month
Yeah.
ago. I so I work a lot, and
D-
yes, it's not straight for
right, right.
these
But
years. I work diligently on these
does this
things.
like because we all are different as years go on and like things happen, pandemic happened another time, different political things happen. Does that change like your like any ideas in the movie, like over that 12-year period? Like now I have
Absolutely.
different interests, or something
Well,
else has happened.
the interest this there was a structure in the film that always had to do with karma. Something very strange happened, which ended up becoming a pertinent part of the film. I'm not saying what the title is, but even the title changed, a subtitle changed that had to do with karma coming into the filmmaker's life, being me. That's what the contemporary part. So it was the structural element was the same in a way, but I added an extra layer in it, and it depthened the movie, so to speak. But yeah, and that's the benefit if you fund your own film, you're not a corporation. I can change it. That's part of why I like to fund my own films, which I did with my first film. What is it? My second film was written by a man who had a severe case of cerebral palsy. He's the main
Mhm.
actor in it, and we that was actually I only did that in three production segments, and that was shot within a 1 year time period. That's actually the fastest shooting. But then I wasn't finished with What Is It at that point. So then I edited What Is It when I premiered What Is It in Sundance in 2005. Then I started diligently editing the sequel, It Is Fine, Everything Is Fine. And then that premiered in Sundance in 2007. And then I started developing the screenplay for the one I'm about to premiere in New York in October in 2007. And it took me a number of years to develop the screenplay. It was written. My father was an actor, Bruce Glover, and he and I'd never acted in anything together. So I developed this for he and I to act in together. So I and he got involved in the writing, which was not easy. It was easy to direct him as an actor. It was less easy to work with him as a writer. But that ended up in becoming involved in like I say, the contemporary elements in a good way. But yes, things definitely change, and I can definitely affect it. Whereas no corporation would allow a movie to be made and changed for years.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. They
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they have an investment. They're looking at it as a monetary investment. Most films lose money, but they're trying, which is understandable. I'm the only person that's going to be willing to do that, so I might as well take advantage of it and let that happen. But it's also why Blind Bargain is a nice thing where you can tell that the producers were passionate about
Oh
the
yeah.
subject and shooting it on film, and they were involved in the original script writing, and it was a nice. I liked working with the people. I respected what they were passionate
I really
about.
like the look of everyone in the movie. I
Yeah.
like all the costume, all the different facial hair, because I think it's done in a way where it's kind of fun, but it's not like over the top where it's like a parody
Yeah.
film. You know what I mean? If that
Right,
makes
right.
sense. Yeah.
It's attempting to have some flavor of the era.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just real
yeah,
quick about your other movies, because say you don't ever put them out digitally. So do you
yeah.
ever put them out like on a physical copy, or is it
No,
just you have to go see them?
right. Yeah, and there's a legal aspect to it as well, which I was always aware of. The first film, What Is It? Most of the actors in the film have Down syndrome,
Hmm.
and even in 2005, I was aware that if it were ever to be taken out of context, people can be mean on online, and I never wanted things to be taken out and people just made fun of and that kind of thing. I've seen people misinterpret thinking I'm making fun of the people, which I absolutely would never be interested in for a millisecond. Uh, but the film dealt with taboo elements of all different kinds of levels. It was something that I knew would be truly people get angry about the film even to this day. I'm not going to tour with it immediately with the new film. I'll bring it back into touring again later. But the film was viscerally anti-authoritarian, viscerally anti-corporate, which we really don't have because everything is corporate, whether it's digital, even if something is, financed by a non-corporation, for the most part, it's going to be corporately distributed if you see it, which means that the corporation has a say-so over what the content is ultimately. And corporations almost have a legal element of where they need to answer to their stockholders, so they can't do things that are anti-corporate, which is not good. Um, but I was starting to go on a thread about something, and
About, just like the legal aspects of putting the
the
movie
legal,
out.
right, with my own film.
Mhm.
The There's a thing called fair use,
Mhm.
which is not good if you're if you want if you are concerned that people will be especially making fun of people in
Yeah.
your film.
Especially now with the rise of YouTube and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was always aware of this. So what it means is if somebody tries to steal the images of my film, I can legally take them to court because there is no fair use because it isn't out digitally. So it's stolen material if anybody tries to do that. I've had people try to do it. It's not good. I've never gone to court. I just say do not do this, and people take it down if they try to steal something. It's an unfortunate thing. It would be I would be more well known as a filmmaker on some level if I let things out digitally, but I have a lot of reasons to not do it.
There's
There's
also just something, I think there's like a special idea, like you have to go see it at the theater,
I think so, and I will start
like a
touring with.
live play in a way.
And I am doing a live play as well. I do a live performance with it, but it's also, yes, I will tour with these films again because there are many people that have never seen it, so it makes them pertinent as a cinema experience. Because it never has been out digitally, and I've always been aware of that. That's something I wanted to keep it out of the digital arena because let's face it, at this point it almost basically becomes public domain. And there's no way, technically, I have recouped on my first two films only in the fact that I've recouped by the live performance that I do and the sales of the books. By the box office itself, those films have never recouped. So I've kept this business model because I did ultimately recoup, but not by the box office from the films. So it's a very particular business model, which I like. And I like that then I can meet people as opposed to going and doing conventions, which is just about signing
Yes,
a
right.
thing and taking a picture. But in this situation, I have an experience with the people. I'm curious what people react to with the film. I have an interaction with them. And then at the end, I have a book signing, have pictures and what have you. And I can meet and talk to the people. I like it when people are interested in the film. I'm curious what they get out of it because all of my films have a certain surreal aspect that lets an interpretation for the audience come, and different people have different interpretations, which I'm always
Yeah,
interested to hear.
my friend actually, Adrian Esposito, actually brought up the movie to me, wanted me to bring it up to you. So, he's an autistic film director, and he used an actor with Down syndrome for the lead of his movie,
Oh,
and you
and
were a
he
big inspiration for him.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's starting, there's even now there are disability festivals going on, which when I made What Is It, nothing like that was around. There's people that will fund things. I had to fund it all myself. But yeah, that community is a very worthwhile community for film and other things. So it's weird to me if I get criticized about it, people say I'm doing something wrong, but I'm actually working with the disability community in a positive way.
Hmm.
Are these people criticizing me actually making films within the disability community? No. They are, great. I'm all for it. And then that's if you have a criticism, great. But otherwise, come on, go work with the disability community, put it on film, and make something positive. I'm all for that, and I will stand up and applaud you.
So, A Blind Bargain premieres at Frightfest. Frightfest, a great a festival. I've been there once as press, once with my own movie. People should go see it on the big screen like you're supposed to see a movie. And go and see your movies when they
Yeah,
play. I'll have all the links up here.
CrispinGlover.com, sign up for the newsletter and it'll tell you when I'm where with the film.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm sorry I
Thank
kept
you.
you here longer than I was supposed to,
No,
but I
that's all
really
right.
enjoyed talking with you.
Good to talk to you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, and
Bye.
congratulations on everything.
Oh, good. Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks.
Thanks.
Sorry.
It's all
Great
right.
interview. Great interview.